Okay, ladies and gentlemen, depending on where you're coming in from around the world, we have three different time zones going on here. We're at the Atlantic Coast time zone. We are in California and Japan. Welcome to the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley, where we like to bring programs of innovation, education, and entrepreneurship. And of course, everything that we like to do is tie it in with service. Every week we bring you a program with a guest speaker from somewhere on the planet, and they like to tell us their story. As a Rotary Club, we like to foster new approaches to improving communities near and far. So really happy that you joined us. We'd like to say welcome to our club members, and we'd like to say welcome to guest Rotarians who might be somewhere in the world. At the end of this program, when we finish Aidan's presentation and a Q&A session, we would like to remind you to please leave a comment. And if you could please let us know where you're coming from if you're a visiting Rotarian, so we can contact your club and let them know that you have joined us. Now, before we begin, we would like to have each person here on the meeting introduce themselves. So as we see it on my screen, we're going to start with, let's see, my top right. That would be Mr. Cochran. So Chris, if you could wave your hand and introduce yourself briefly.
Hi, I'm Chris Cochran. I'm the chair of PR for this particular club. I'm also a filmmaker located in the fourth time zone for this meeting in Ontario, Canada, near Ottawa.
And next to Chris, I can see Shags Shagrin. So if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, Stephen Shagrin, better known as Shags. I'm a money coach and personal chef in Walnut Creek, California.
Wonderful. And next to Shags, as I see it, we have Yvonne Kwong.
Hi, I'm Yvonne, and I'm a director for this eClub. I'm also an educator, and I'm studying my master's in education at San Jose State University.
Wonderful. Now, before I give a little bit of a bio of Aidan, I'd like his mother and father, Padraig and Jennifer, to kind of poke their heads in there and give us a little bit of a wave.
Hi there. Oh.
Okay, thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us. My name is Nate Gildart. I'm also a member of this club, and I'm contacting you from Japan. And yes, Chris is right. We actually have 4 time zones here. So he's in central Canada right now. So let me tell you a little bit about Aidan before we get started. But Aidan, can you give a little bit of a wave there?
Hello.
Hi. Now, Aidan is an 11-year-old from a school called Beaverbank Monarch Elementary School, which is in Beaverbank, Nova Scotia, just in the suburbs of the outskirts of Halifax, Nova Scotia on the Atlantic coast of Canada. He's a football player. In 2016, this young guy won this award that was very prestigious. He won the his football team, and I'll say American football team, won the provincial championships in Nova Scotia. They're called the Dragons. But he won the leadership award on the team. When you hear this young guy speak, you're going to see why. Now, he's going to tell us a little bit of a story about his summertime project that he kind of came up with on his own, where he's selling lemonade on one of the main street in Halifax called Barrington Street. He sells lemonade, but he calls it LemonAidan, which I think is very, very clever. He's been mentored by his aunt and uncle, Lacey and Kieran Doherty. They have their own cafe, restaurant, cocktail restaurant called the Middle Spoon. However, Aidan calls his business the Little Spoon. You can kind of see why. Pardon me?
More puns.
Exactly. Well, we like puns. Puns are good. So what he does is mixes really delicious lemonade, flavored lemonade. This year he has a cookie dough that is very, very good. I was very lucky to be able to have this summer. But I'm not going to tell you too much more. Aidan's going to tell his story. So what I'm going to do is mute my microphone. Aidan, if you can share your screen with us and tell us your story, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, sure. Just give me a sec. Beep. Yeah, here we go. It's right in the middle. There we go. Yeah.
So your guys' video was just in the
Right
middle
in
of
the
his
middle.
presentation there.
The Little Spoon Dessertery and Bar by Aidan Lucius Doherty. Let me see. It's not letting me. Here we go. I'm going to tell myself, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. I'm 11-year-old, entrepreneurial. I'm going into grade 6. My hobbies include American football. I love math, and I like to be well dressed. Give me a sec. How it all began. My goal a few years ago, I was telling my aunt and uncle how I would take over the business, and they said they'd show me the ropes, and my parents would support me after. We had meetings and stuff, how we decided the product, cost, profitability. What we sold last year was lemonade and whoopie pies, and this year we decided to spice it up with cookie dough sundaes with extra toppings. The endless beginning. This is kind of poetic because after 7 meetings and lots upon lots upon lots upon lots of shopping for cups, bowls, plastic spoons, sprinkles, lemons, cocoa, flour, whipping cream, sugar, batter, etc., 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 and a supply of amenities, buckets, flasks, bar spoons from my aunt and uncle. Yeah, let me just, there we go. The costs included rent of space and amenities, which was a percentage of my sales, and the materials I used. The lemons were the highest expense because, you know, it's hard to get them fresh. Well, it isn't hard, but it's expensive. Whipped cream 2016, chocolate chips 2017, which was slightly expensive. And of course, most valuable, time. Behind the table. Sunny Saturdays and Sundays, we go in the morning. And setup takes 45 minutes with help from my parents. Presentation of the table is the most important, in my opinion, as well as most of the ingredients and stuff set up. Lemon display, presentation includes the lemon display, the sandwich board and food samples. There's also two plants, and my personal favorite, the golden pineapple. Part 2. My sales strategy includes a quirky, happy attitude, a professional and cute appearance. I welcome people to the table by calling them out, like, "Hey, you, get over here, try some lemonade," you know, that stuff. Another thing that's important is small talk and conversation about weather and how they are doing or where they are from. Sometimes they're tourists. One time, back in my first year of the Pride Parade, we were selling stuff, and one of the float people had a microphone. And we're talking, and they said, "Oh, that was delicious." And Mom's like, "You want to try one?" And then she flicked it like a baseball, like 40 feet away, and she caught it. In the microphone, like down the street, you can hear her like complimenting it. So that was kind of funny. I definitely grew as a person doing this because I was learning about business, and last year I wasn't as outgoing as I am now, and I'm way more confident talking to people. And in this type of business, you have to take action or you'll lose opportunities. The business skills I learned is how to plan, how to prepare, and how to manage the business, and keep your small change in the float because, you know, I can't really charge them $10. My future goals for this summer is to increase profits compared to last year and have more fun than last year because last year was kind of challenging. The future in general, I would like to study aerodynamics in engineering. I like math. Or play on university football on a scholarship. Thank you for listening to this presentation.
That is fantastic, Aidan. Thank you very much. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go into a question and answer session. So you're going to be on the spot, big guy. Okay. So just take your time. I noticed that we do have another one of our guests come in, Heather. So Heather, if you can give us a bit of a wave. And if you want to unmute your microphone, Heather, why don't you just introduce yourself briefly as we did earlier?
So I'm Heather Shaw, and I'm in Santa Clara, California, and I'm a chiropractor there. I have to say that I'm very impressed. I caught you a little late here, but I had a lemonade stand myself, and it was not as elaborate as what you had there. All the thought that went into that. Congratulations, you're awesome.
Instead of quarters, I'm making hundreds of dollars. So.
Wow.
Better than other people's.
I went to I stopped at a lemonade stand when I visited my family in New Jersey a couple weeks ago, and the guy, he was probably your age, but he didn't have quite the same setup as you. He had a large cup and a small cup, and I think this large cup was $1 and the small one was 50 cents, but he decided that you put less liquid in the large cup because it was only a quarter filled. I'm like looking at him like, really? And he's like, that's what you get. And I was like, okay.
Just buy like 3 small cups and fill up the large one.
I know, yeah. It was ridiculous. But I thought, he's not going to get return customers on that one. But, he didn't talk to me either. So you have it all working for you.
Yeah. I also have great opportunities like being in this or being a guest speaker in this Rotary Club. So I got that working for me too. So,
so Aidan, I got a question for you. Why lemonade? Why did you go with that product?
Because lemonade is more like, how grandparents always say, you should open a lemonade stand, make some money, right? I actually did, and it worked way better than expected.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Way better than expected.
Yeah. Hey. Guys, I ought to get down to Halifax and do a film on this kid.
I think you should.
Like Kane's Arcade. You've seen that one? Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Why
seen
not?
Kane's Arcade. It's fantastic. Yeah. Well, actually, when I saw Kane's Arcade, I thought of Aidan. Sorry, Aidan. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Another opportunity I've had to make more money on top of that. This doesn't have to do with Little Spoon. It's just I'm telling you because why not? It's summer. I work on the set of a show called Mr. D. First 5 seasons, I think, are on Netflix if you want to check it out. The 6th season's a little harder to get, so I suggest searching that online. I'm going to be in season 7, which is going to come out in the fall. But I'm just background, so I'm not like talking or anything.
So Aidan, which show was that? I didn't catch the name. I'm a film and television director. I direct Designated Survivor.
Oh, Mr. D is the show.
Okay. I'll look for you in the background.
Yeah.
You make it up to Ottawa or Toronto. Right now we're shooting from now until May of 2018 in Toronto, the 2nd season of Designated Survivor. You make it down there, I'll give you a primo spot on the set. Maybe we can come other. Hey. Can you make lemonade on the set?
Maybe.
Hey, who knows?
Yeah.
Catering might be a union job there.
I'm sure we can get some kind of permissions to go on. I'm not worried about that.
Oh, wouldn't I need a permit?
You're talking to the director of the show. I can arrange a few things. Yes, you would need a permit. I'd have to get a permit from the various unions, but that should not be a problem.
Well, let me comment on that. It's interesting that Aidan would say that because, the idea, wouldn't I need a permit? That's something you probably learned as well, Aidan, through this whole business process that, you can't just set up a business anywhere you want. There's certain rules that you have to follow through with, right?
Yeah. Fortunately, my aunt and uncle already have a permit, so don't need one.
Well, can you tell us a little bit more about your aunt and uncle and how they've mentored you and helped you out with this?
Well, along with the meetings, they're actually very close family. They joke around. They have fun, like most adults do. And there are certain advantages to owning a bar. So, the advantages I'm talking about.
That's right. Shags, you look like you have a question.
Yeah, a couple of questions. What are your hours or your months of operation? Just the summertime?
Just the summertime, because I don't think it would work as well in the fall.
Yeah, it'd
It's
be
been
cold to stand out front.
it's been a bit tricky the last few days, because the last few weeks it's been raining. So I can't really open on a rain day because it'd float me away.
Too bad you're not in the States, because I have lemon trees in my yard, and I shipped to my daughter, who's a cook in Roanoke. I sent her Meyer lemons. I don't know if you can get a Meyer lemon up there, but it's a really interesting lemon. It's a cross between an orange, a mandarin orange, and a standard lemon. So it gives your lemonade juice a really interesting twist.
Delicious.
You know what else gives it an interesting twist? Raspberry shots.
Raspberries.
Like, you know the sauce that you put on ice cream, like chocolate sauce? Well, they made raspberry sauce, and you can put it in the lemonade, so it has a raspberry flavor to it too.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Actually, last summer and this summer, that's exactly what Yuka and I, last summer with Yuka and this summer on my own, but, Aidan does, you can have like the straight up lemonade, or you can have a raspberry shot with it, and it's fantastic. It really, really is good.
You thought about fresh berries in an immersion blender and just juice it right in the cup? Then you have a cup of water and you clean out the blender and do the other one. You could have blueberries, raspberries, strawberries.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we had strawberry last year. I don't know what happened to it. Strawberry just disappeared for some reason. I tried something on my own time where I mixed the strawberry with the raspberry, and it created like almost the perfect blend.
Oh, very cool. I noticed that.
But you know.
You thought about what?
I thought about using blueberries too, but I was like, how would I do that?
Well, you could test it out. Aidan and everybody else, I noticed that another one of our members, Brett, has joined the conversation. And Brett is actually jumping in from Australia. So that is our 5th time zone. Brett, by any chance, do you have a question for Aidan? I know you've jumped in at some point in time here, but it's good to see you.
I just thought it's really inspiring to hear someone so young really taking an entrepreneurial lead. But didn't have any questions as of yet. I don't know if you had any questions.
So I know that eventually maybe you want to go into studying something different, but were you thinking about taking over your aunt and uncle's business full time at some point in time, Aidan?
Yeah, that's totally what I'm going for. Another thing, I forgot.
Are you going to take over your parents, the aunt and uncle's business?
Yeah.
Definitely.
He's gonna take over the world.
I wouldn't
get
be
in a good size
surprised.
now.
But that's okay, because that's okay if Aidan takes over the world, because I've known him since he was like that big as a little baby, and he's got a really, really big heart. So that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. Before we wrap things up here, is there anybody else that would like to ask a question to Aidan? Just put your kind of hand up or unmute your microphone. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Aidan, I'm into hats too. Where did you get that cool hat?
Sure. Curtis brought it from Japan over here, and I asked him for it. And he's all like, sure.
Whoa, okay.
Just context with the Curtis thing. Back in Canada, I grew up with my middle name, actually. I started using Nathan as I traveled overseas about 20 years ago.
So incognito, so nobody knows who you are.
Exactly.
We get it.
Okay, so before we give Aidan the last word here, all right, so Aidan, you take a moment and think about the last thing that you might want to say. I'm just going to kind of wrap things up here. I will let people know that Aidan is on Facebook, so if you were to search for The Little Spoon or beneath the YouTube video, look at the link and you'll see where you can access Aidan on Facebook, and you can see updates and posts and that kind of thing. I am going to point out, too, that his mother and father, as Aidan pointed out earlier in his presentation, but his mother and father have been very inspirational as well, along with his aunt and uncle. And this is a great example of how a family is coming together to help, help a young guy kind of live the dream, so to speak.
you know, expand the horizons.
Yeah, exactly. And you're 11 years old, Aidan. I can't wait to see what happens when you're 22, when you've doubled in age. So, so thank you everyone for jumping in here at this meeting, and thank you if you're a guest. Those of you that are watching this outside of real time, please remember, if you can, leave a comment in the comment box. Let us know that you visited. We want to thank you for joining us, and we're going to leave the last word with Aidan. So, Aidan, what do you want to leave us with?
Thank you for having me, because I'm not really, like, I don't think I've ever been in a Rotary Club, let alone an online Rotary Club.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Shags. Have a wonderful week, everybody.